I'm Dr. Sarah, and are you overwhelmed in your work as a leader? Have you been overwhelmed in your work in the past? And it's possible in the future you might become overwhelmed in your work as well. And so one of the tools that I like to share with leaders who share that sentiment with me, they share, hey, Dr. Sarah, I'm really overwhelmed in my work. What can I do? Or I feel buried in my work. I don't even know what is most important. Or I have a million things on my list. I can't possibly get them all done this week, let alone this month. And a prioritization matrix is one of those tools that is critical. It's really one of those reflective tools that asks us as leaders to sit down and think about the situation that we're in right now, right? To sit down and reflect on what is happening. Now, the two aspects that we're going to look at for the purposes of this tool is urgency and importance, okay? These are the two important aspects. Now, you may be looking at this tool and there might be two different criteria that are more important to you or of different importance levels to you. So feel free to adjust those. If importance and urgency are not the two aspects that are most important to you, feel free to adjust that on your matrix. One of the other things I like to share about this tool is it is scalable. That means that if you are, for instance, an emerging leader, possibly you're a leader who does not have any direct reports within the organization, okay? So maybe you're not managing a team. Or if you're a leader who is managing a team, maybe you're managing a department. Or you might be an executive leader who's running an entire organization or running an entire business unit. This, again, is a tool that can be scaled because how you reflect and use it will vary based on your context and your role. So with this matrix, it's really important that we have a little bit of an outline of what we're talking about here. So on one aspect, you are going to have low importance and then high importance. And then on the other aspect, you're going to have low urgency and high urgency. So again, you can adjust the urgency and importance if you have different criterion that you want to put there. With that being said, you now have 4 quadrants, okay? There's 4 quadrants. We have the quadrant where we see high importance and low urgency, the quadrant that we see low importance and low urgency, the quadrant that we see high importance, high urgency, and then the 4th quadrant of low importance and high urgency. Now, one way that we can look at this is to then be able to label these different quadrants, these different categories, if you will. So after you spend time reflecting, thinking about all those to-dos, whether you have a to-do list already that you just want to categorize and drop things into the different quadrants, or if you want to sit down and spend time reflecting now, thinking about what are some of these things on my list, on my calendar, how can I sort of ideate where I'm at right now? You can do that, okay? Then, once you have those different tasks, those different projects, those different items based on these different categories, now let's start analyzing, right? Let's start thinking about, okay, what is the action that we can take from here? So we can see that if we want to label these different quadrants, we can label them now, which are items we need to do now, next, which are items that, okay, those are next up after we finish the now. Then we have those items that are last. So those items would fall after we're finished with the now and the next items. And then we have the category with never. Okay, so these are items that are not important and they're not urgent. So we'll put them in that never category. This again is an opportunity that, depending on your role and what your leadership is right now, is going to vary. So some of us who may not be on a team or may not have any direct reports, these are ways in which you can go about organizing your time or organizing a time that you work with a contractor or a third party. Those of us that have teams that are leading individuals that possibly have direct reports, this is a great opportunity for you to think about, what can I delegate? What is important for me to do versus what is an opportunity that I can offer someone on my team? Just because something needs to be completed now does not mean that it needs to be completed by you now. It could be able to be a project that could be completed by a team member that you have trust and relationship in. Okay. And so again, this is where you want to spend some time really reflecting and thinking about, okay, what of these to-dos in these various quadrants can I delegate? What are the things that are for me and what are the things that can be opportunities for others? I like to share with leaders that if we really view some of these projects as opportunities for others, that's where we can have action learning in our leadership style. That's where we can really encourage folks on our team that may not have been given an opportunity yet to lead a project or may not have had an opportunity yet to be involved in a certain aspect of the business. What a great opportunity for you to entrust them, giving them that feedback, that support, that coaching, that guidance, of course, that they will need to be successful, but an opportunity for them to take the lead, for them to have ownership and responsibility on a project while they are developing their skills, developing their own sense of leadership within that action learning environment. All right, so that's the prioritization matrix. I encourage you to consider integrating that into your work as a leader, into the leadership that you offer your team and your organization. Thanks.